let's take a closer look at the parry position that we looked at briefly when we talked about our new guard positions. So again, one more time, the parry position, we are using an inverse grip on the top portion of the stick by the cord, and so that the bottom of the stick is pointed out, okay? Optionally, you can put your thumb along the side here, and then your other hand is holding usually more towards the bottom on the back stick. So when we're here, again, I talked about a little bit of how this is to cover our center line pretty well. And we have what we call tap parry. We're going to tap, tap. We can tap attacks offline. Now obviously we should be moving, tap, tap and block, block, block and tap, right? So it's add just enough so that my movement is covered and safe that whole time, okay? So I have my tap, parry, and then I can go for a full scoop block. So I can come all the way around and block to move something out of the way, okay? Very simple. Also relatively simple, the parry thrust, where we extend forward, okay? Remember to bring this backhand with you, right? You don't want to try to be holding it back here. So be ready for both arms to be going out here. And then, very useful from our parry position, is the reverse backhand swing, okay? So I showed in the guard position video on how it has a longer reach because the way we flip, and now that stick being out gives us a greater reach than we had before, right? So we're concealing our true range until we're ready. Boom, come across that swing. Oh, hey look, my hip pass, right? So I'm passing to my hip to catch. Pass to my hip and catch, right? And focusing on the catch that we went over, right? So I'm here, boom, 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 thrust, scoop, and then when I'm ready, there's the reverse backhand, and then I can even switch it. Boom, come through, grab whichever way I want, and come back around, all right? Usually this position is thought of as more for a bow attack, but we'll look at both real quick. We'll look at the empty hand first, and then the bow, okay? So let's look at empty hand first. Grab. Right, so I'm here in my parry position, and he throws a punch, right? So relatively easily, I use that same back pass motion, right? Now that I'm inside, I can thrust. He can obviously still strike again. I can cover, backhand, reverse backhand. Okay, so all those still work, right? They throw a punch. Here, I come on the outside on this side, come in for my thrust, backhand, okay? If they throw a kick, here, where we get a little bit off of this one. I don't like doing this one much for the kick. It's just so close to where my hand is, right? I would almost rather just try to do my arm block than here. But, you know, if I smack into the shin more, then that still works too. And then from here, I can release and throw a normal swing across the face, okay? So, or they throw a punch, I can come right into the front of the punch, boom, come in for the thrust there, backhand. So it works okay against empty hand attacker. We'll take a closer look at attack, aggressor flow drills, as well as attack simulations later on, okay? But this is our basic understanding of how the guard works at the moment, okay? Now let's take a look at the same thing with the bow. So now he has a bow. Let's start with the overhead attack, right? So boom, parry offline. It's pretty scary, but now I have something that I can actually make contact with, right? Rather than being empty-handed against the bow. I can come back in, strike down into the hand, take that knee out, and be ready to deal with this, okay? Obviously, I'm doing all of these, we're doing these all off of a one attack at the moment. But nonetheless, that's my theory, right? They come in, boom, 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 right? That should give me the opening that I'm looking for, okay? If they come in for a thrust, right? So this, again, starts to work nicer against the thrust. Boom, boom, I can come in with my thrust, all right? Here, again, I can go back to that reverse swing here, or I can come back to something like this, come back for the hand, and then take out the face, right? So it's less that I'm trying to get this hand, and here, so let's look at the thrust one more time. Whether I'm boom, getting in, right, and then getting out, okay? So, this timing can be a little hard to make, but I can also come down with the string, right? So depending on my timing, I can come down. So I have a cord block in there as well, okay? This is gonna work a lot less against a kick, but against a staff that's straight, this will actually work pretty decently, okay? So I can come in and slide up. I don't do whatever. Let go, we'll brace it, take out the knee, right? Don't be too limited to using your nunchaku. And again, boom, here, I can even come in, bam, blast a side kick through the knee, swing step, and again, take out that face, okay? So, again, don't be too limited, but those are where our pieces start to come more in line, okay? Now, what you're gonna have the most trouble against is a horizontal swing. The vertical swing, it's pretty easy for me to tap this offline. Again, come in here, I can come this way. Boom, pretty easy for me to tap that offline, take out that hand, okay? So, my high and my thrust work pretty nicely, okay? So here, the side strike though, I come in to the side, boom. Yeah, my stick, even if it were a solid stick, they are still likely to push through, okay? So if I'm going to do something from the parry position, I would much recommend coming in and get really deep. But if you're at that point, well, let's look at that again from the other side. I'll switch my grip. It comes in, boom, is that I'm coming in and deep going for that hand. But if you're able to do that, you can probably handle yourself with empty hand bow defense, to be honest. But nonetheless, it's still good having something you can use to your advantage afterwards, okay? So, but can we use the cord, right? So this end isn't working very well, this stick block. But what about our cord blocks? So they come in, boom. Now I have something that I can actually support and stop, whether it's, I would be aiming more towards the cord. So here, boom, I can actually support that strike. So that strike comes in, boom, even if I'm out here, right? Again, we're using action flex at the moment, but you can still see how this will support the strike. I can pass it over and then take out that knee. I can still maintain contact with their weapon so that I know what's happening over here. I can feel when they pull away. I can feel when they pull away. So if I want to enter and maintain some sort of jamming pressure, and then boom, take out that knee again, and again, until they're ready, right? So maintaining my usefulness of the connection to that staff. So again, when I'm in my parry position and they throw the horizontal, I will block with the cord, okay? Just remember, on this hand, my hand is now a lot closer to that cord section than standard. If we thought about my center block or side block here, okay? So what that does is it gives me a little bit more support, as you just saw. So let's go back here, right? So I have more support, right? This is easier for them to bend in. Now if I flip this grip, so I gain more strength here, but what I'm losing is the safety of this hand, okay? So I don't know if you noticed it on the first clip, I actually did get my hand clipped, okay? And that's because it's just what I'm trading off for this sort of block, okay? So when you're gonna do this, try to make sure you're not just putting your stick, you're putting your block up to the side. I actually like to try to punch my hand over the incoming strike, okay? Again, a lot to be said, more to be done when actually doing those sort of things, but nonetheless, okay? Let's look at the low swing to the leg. So if he does a low swing, what sort of blocks do I have, right? This low block doesn't work as well anymore, right? I can still obviously use my swing step, or my cross step that we talked about earlier, right? So this is what should be getting me to real safety. This will still help slow that stick down, but this is my real safety. But even then, not so much, right? However, I can totally evade and swing over top, all right? So that's a decent option. I would just always much prefer they throw low, and I can throw my backhand into it if I want, but not gonna do a whole lot. So that leg is still really in danger. So biggest thing is going to be to cross step and then probably re-enter for the reverse backhand swing. So overhead strike, we got it covered. Thrust, we're good. Side strike, a little less so. And the low strike, even more so less. From the parry position, right? Now, if I'm in my other positions, if I'm in the standard position, and they throw the low strike, boom, that definitely did its job, okay? I got plenty of rotation to knock that off, okay? I don't have as much when I start from here and just come across, right? It's covering this distance rather than that distance, okay? My distance, my time, my speed, my power that I get to put into that is what's really gonna make the difference there, okay? So, yes, you do have ability to protect yourself, but is it really the best position to go to versus bow? Why don't you think about that, and we will come back to this exact scenario, okay? But these are still some viable options.